All right, Ashutosh, good evening. So
Good
what's on
evening,
your,
Akshay.
it's good to see you after a long time.
Great
Uh,
to see you too, Akshay.
yes, and what's on your mind today, Ashutosh? What do you want to discuss? What would you like to discuss?
So, first of all, Akshay, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. It's been a long time since we had our last conversation,
Yes, that's right.
and it's always great to talk to you because we can have a frank and very easygoing conversation on subjects that typically I don't have a conversation with a lot of people.
Right.
But with you, I'm not only comfortable, but I know that you also think a lot about these things, and
Absolutely.
you also help others
Correct.
who may be having these challenges. So I'm happy to have this discussion
Right.
and conversation with you, Akshay.
Likewise. Same here. Yeah. So let's
So
let's begin. Yeah.
sure. So the couple of things which we wanted to discuss, and before this call started, we also touched upon.
Hmm.
One of the things is seeking validation.
Correct.
And we said that in today's world, sameness,
Hmm.
uniformity is encouraged.
Hmm.
And as an individual, when you try to stray
Hmm.
or move away from that line of sameness,
Right.
you feel a sense of anxiety, feel a sense of uncertainty,
Hmm.
and fear crops up.
Correct.
And you seek validation somehow,
Yeah.
somewhere to assuage or comfort yourself from feeling that sense of anxiety or fear.
Right.
So that was one of the topics I wanted to discuss, which is why do we seek validation, and what can we do to overcome this,
Correct.
right?
Right.
And the other thing which I wanted to discuss in relation to this was, like we discussed, why do we feel a sense of anxiety
Hmm.
whenever we have to probably express ourselves or do something new? And sometimes, why does the mind also magnify
Hmm.
a problem, right? Like, for example, if you have to give a talk or if you have to present something new
Hmm.
or do something that you may have done several times
Correct.
and which may not be a big deal, but why do you feel as if it is something that is blown out of proportion,
Hmm.
something that seems very big,
Right.
whereas at another time when you are at a little distance from that
Hmm.
event or after the event may have passed, you
Correct.
feel that it was not that a big deal. Why did I make such a big deal out of it?
Right.
So, and somewhere we also discussed that these may be connected with
Yeah.
what we call imposter syndrome,
Right.
right? Which is a
Right.
feeling of inadequacy.
Inadequacies. Correct.
So, so in this discussion, I'm hoping we can tie together all these
Absolutely.
things: seeking validation,
Absolutely.
anxiety, and imposter syndrome,
And
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 try
why does the mind magnify
magnify
things? Yes.
magnify little things and make them into big
Big
things,
things. Yes.
right? And possibly, probably there's a sense of fear
Hmm.
behind all of this. And like we were also saying, being an individual in today's world,
Correct.
especially with social media and other things which are always making us want to be
Hmm.
like others, has become so
Right.
challenging. So
Correct.
how do we overcome that, and how can we go deeper into the problem so as to understand it, not only at the conscious level but also subconsciously or at the unconscious level, so that these problems cease to exist.
Correct. Absolutely. Before we begin, a great choice of topic, Ashutosh. Now, while we discussed that, all these things are interlinked, but it's best if we break it into chunks today. I mean,
Sure.
during the call today. So so validation and seeking external validation is, as you rightly mentioned earlier, before we got on call, that this is more of uh, uh, I would call it a disorder, not the disorder that the psychologists talk about, but a disorder of our thought patterns, the way we think. And it's not just limited to our corporate world, it's also found at our homes. If you reflect on your conversations with, say, grandparents or say maybe our parents, especially the mothers, they would often have these thoughts. Did I was I right in my decision, or did I I hope my folks loved my food. So when they would wait for a feedback from their children, from their husbands, right? So that is also some sort of an external validation. While we would say that that's love, yes, that's love. But when you know yourself, you don't have to seek external validation. What you need is to seek your own validation. So what we're going to do is, uh, validation. It's just the surface level symptom that I would say, that what you see is, say, let me take my example. So right from my childhood, I would seek validation, say from my father, from my mother, from my teachers. So that was a surface level. That is something that continued even in my adulthood because it was unaddressed. Now, as I started working on myself and my experiences with working with people from various walks of life, what I realized that there are multiple layers under your habit of seeking validation. The layer that is right below the surface layer is our inherited patterns or belief. The belief that I am not good enough. And how does this come? This comes through the messages you get from the people around you. In my case, most of my teachers would often, kind of put me down or humiliate me, never let me fail, and that led to the third layer, which is anxiety. Now, I wouldn't get into the definition of anxiety, the psychological definition. What I have come to, what I've realized is anxiety is actually a result of us not being our true self. So when someone asks you, Ashutosh, I want you to behave in a particular manner. I don't want you to go beyond the brief. I want you to stick to the brief. But Ashutosh as a personality is confident, is an extrovert, and he loves to go beyond the brief. But the company's requirement or the environment's like social environment's requirement is that it's not allowing Ashutosh to be who he is. So what happens is you are constantly thinking about, am I in the right direction? Oh, what if I just go beyond the brief? What will happen? Let me not think about it. So you constantly get into that loop. So that is what creates that anxiety within you. So you're not being your true self. Then comes the fourth layer, which is again self doubt. You start doubting yourself because you've been asked to move in a particular manner or a pattern. Now, you are someone, it's not that you love to break patterns, but yes, you love to innovate. But if somebody is trying to stop you, you start doubting yourself. So, in my case, going back to my example, I was often told that never go against the crowd, don't go against the group, never question authority. So, what happened was every time I had a question, I would stop myself from asking that question. And this is something that continued even in my adult life. Whenever a project was given to me, whenever a task was given to me, I would never question. Why? Because don't question authority. Don't ask stupid questions. What were you doing when I was explaining it to you? So, all these things turned into my inherited patterns, led to anxiety. I wanted to ask questions, but I was stopped. And the last layer is the lack of self awareness. That is where even your unaddressed emotions or pain. You will find your unaddressed emotions and pain. And this is where you may find your answer to the question, why does the mind blow things out of proportion? Because see, the mind or the brain, let's take brain for example. Brain cannot differentiate between real threat and perceived threat. So when you're constantly thinking about the future, when you are constantly brooding about the past, the body it gets under stress, and the brain starts to feel that you are under threat. And that is when your flight or fight response gets activated. And the mind, obviously, brain obviously starts expanding on things, starts blowing things out of proportion. So all of these are linked. So to answer your question, why do we seek external validation? We seek external validation because we've not addressed those inherited patterns or beliefs that I am not good enough. Just because your teacher said you were not good enough. Yeah, you may not have been a good student, or you may not have been a scholar. You may have been an average student, but that doesn't mean you don't have the capabilities. You are capable. So that is something that may have been true, say, 30 years ago. Is it true today? And that inherited pattern pushes us to seek validation through our bosses, through our customers. Oh, I need testimonial. Oh, my boss has, not given me any feedback. And your social media, it just adds, fuel to the fire. If people do not respond to your post, if there's no like, if there's no comment, you start questioning the validity of that post. Was the post good enough? Am I really good in what I do? So once we start addressing those inherited patterns, once we start addressing that anxiety and focus on building our own inner awareness, you will gradually find yourself and the people around you moving towards seeking validation from within. So that's the crux of validation, and we'll take the conversation forward from this. Yeah,
Yes, Akshay. So we started with a very simple looking problem, but as we can see, it goes very deep,
correct,
right?
absolutely.
There are many layers to it.
Right, right,
And we can get sometimes confused where to start, which layer to address first. Should you
correct.
start from the deepest layer? Should you start from the most superficial layer? Right. And
Right.
it's all interconnected, and probably it is not as linear as we are
Yes,
imagining it to be,
yes,
right? It's all just a mix up.
correct, correct.
And yes, and while you were speaking, I do realize it's the what I realize is that the fundamental and the primary emotion associated with this is anxiety. Anxiety is a form of fear, right?
Correct, correct.
Which is a kind of heaviness that you
Hmm.
feel, and it kind of chokes you from inside, right? It
Yeah,
it doesn't let you it
correct.
doesn't let you express
Right.
yourself. It kind of it forces you to hold yourself back,
Hmm. Hmm.
because if you don't hold yourself back, you may make a mistake. You
Yeah,
may say something stupid. You
correct.
may what will others think? So all of this is are symptoms and expressions of this. Uh, I don't know. You mentioned the word disorder. Well, probably it's a
Hmm.
very strong word,
Yeah,
but
it's a strong word, yes.
it's somewhere around that. It's something like
Correct,
that, right? It is
correct, correct.
something that is a little it is I would say it's something that is common to probably
Hmm.
all humanity,
Yeah,
but because it is common, it is not normal. We
correct.
can say it is abnormal. It
Yeah,
is something that needs to be addressed,
yes,
and it
correct.
is very
Right.
wide and pervasive. While we do see a lot of people who are don't appear to be seeking
Hmm. Hmm.
validation, but
Yes,
probably they are in their own way,
absolutely.
right? And they have
Absolutely.
developed coping mechanisms
Correct.
to not look like that.
Right.
And but you know, for
Hmm.
us to be healthy,
Correct.
mentally healthy,
Right.
sane, to have good relationships,
Right.
to also be physically healthy, because if we don't express ourselves, if we bottle emotions, if we
Hmm.
don't find a true expression of our being, if we don't release, it converts into
Mm.
probably physical
Correct.
diseases and so on. A lot of
Right.
diseases apparently are psychosomatic in
Yeah.
nature,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so it's very important, and we have to go through this exercise. It's not that comfortable,
Mm.
because facing yourself is never comfortable, because in our schools and education we
Yeah.
are not taught to look in that
Correct.
way at all.
Correct. Correct.
All that we are taught to be is like tape recorders, and just learning and repeating,
Yes.
and
Yes.
just stuffing our upper mind with information and knowledge, which now is going to become useless in the age of AI, right?
Yeah.
All that we
Absolutely.
have acquired,
It is.
parroting other people's knowledge, that's going to become useless. So we
Correct.
have to look the other way,
Right.
and we have to resolve some of these things in order to possibly uh, become more creative, right?
Correct.
Because once we resolve all this,
Yeah.
probably we hit something that is creative
Correct.
within us,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it makes a lot of sense, what you said.
Yes, it is. It is. And while I called it a disorder, it's more of a thinking disorder, not a personality disorder. It's a thinking disorder
Yes,
because it's time for us to look for solutions within. Because the problem is within us, the solution too is within us, and it's best to start peeling the layers, as I said, because that is how you solve those problems that you face on a day-to-day basis. And
yes,
the funny part is that while seeking validation is a common challenge most leaders face today, uh, you may not find statistics around it. Like there are like if you go and find the percentage of people struggling with cholesterol, you may find some statistics there. But for validation, this is an abstract concept. You will not find.
you
You
will
may
not
find it.
find
Yes,
validation.
correct,
You will
correct. You
not
will not
find
find.
validation for people
Yes,
who are seeking
yes,
validation,
correct,
right?
absolutely. And
Yes.
and I remember I kind of wouldn't name the person, of course. You and I have worked with that person in the past, and this person had mastered the art of seeking validation without even coming across as he's trying to seek validation, because he knew the keywords that would probably push his supervisor to give him direct feedback. So he would
Mm.
behave in a particular manner. He would use keywords and words that would probably impress the supervisor. And
Right.
his expressions obviously were so while presenting, he would obviously address people in the audience, but he had his focus on the supervisor. This was very evident,
Mm.
and this person was very confident. Uh, And you couldn't even tell him that, that, oh, why are you seeking external validation? Because he was so confident and he did it so well that people would be like, Arey, what a confident man this guy is. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's also another, kind of, and as you rightly mentioned, people look for different coping mechanisms. So this may have
Right,
been his way of
right,
getting away
right,
from seeking validation.
right. And which makes me think, if you find a coping mechanism, that is not necessarily a good thing,
Correct.
because you have found in a coping mechanism, you found like a quick fix. You
Yeah.
have not really solved the problem,
Right.
right? And it is
Right.
going to come up again and again
Correct.
in different forms.
Yeah.
You may have occasional attacks of anxiety. Someone may have like a panic attack,
Hmm.
because what is seething inside, it is going to,
Erupt someday.
come up.
Yes.
It,
Yes.
it is just waiting for that spark, right?
Correct.
From
Correct.
the outside.
Right.
So yeah, so which brings me to the point, basically, we discussed these things,
Hmm.
and probably intellectually, it's very logical, and people are able to understand this. Most of them, I think, do instinctively understand this. However, in practice, it is difficult
Yeah.
to follow. And the question is, why do we avoid,
Hmm.
when we know there is a problem? when we feel anxiety, why do we avoid?
Correct.
Why
Right.
do we avoid facing it, and why do we move away
Mm.
from it, right? And what can we do to really confront it,
Correct.
make
Correct.
ourselves comfortable in confronting ourselves, which is not an uncomfort, which is not which is uncomfortable, right?
Mm.
But how do we make ourselves comfortable enough
Mm.
to feel uncomfortable feelings? I don't know if
Correct.
I'm putting it
Yeah, no,
correctly.
no, I think you're putting it in the right way. And before I answer, I think let's it's best to give a disclaimer here for all
Yeah,
those who may be watching us later.
yeah,
Uh, Ashutosh and I, we are not mental health professionals. While I am an emotional well-being, catalyst, the term anxiety here in this context, we are not referring to the psychological definition of anxiety. If you or any of your family members are suffering from anxiety and if you need professional help, we would request you to reach out to psychotherapists or psychological counselors. Um, the anxiety that we are talking about is the anxiety that is a result of us not being our true self, right?
that's
And when
right.
so that is what we're talking about. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to either of us.
Yes, and thank you for mentioning that. And I just wanted to make a point because you mentioned about anxiety not being our true self.
Correct.
And I've noticed that anxiety is there as long as I'm not in alignment with myself,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Once I'm in alignment with myself, everything becomes very easy, everything becomes
Absolutely.
very smooth. Then there is no fear of
Right.
expression.
Correct.
But as long as there is like a divide
Hmm.
between myself,
Correct.
right? There is a
Right.
distance between myself and myself, if I can
Yes. Yes.
put it
Yes.
that way,
Correct.
there is anxiety.
Yes.
And this anxiety, we know it manifests in many ways. It
Yeah.
prevents us from really growing,
Correct.
not only personally, but also in our careers. It prevents us from achieving things that we really want.
Right.
So it's very restrictive
Hmm.
in many ways.
It is.
So
It is. Yes. Thanks for adding that context, Ashutosh. So, why do we run away from the fact that we feel anxious? Again, that has a connection to our inherited patterns where our parents have told us not to feel scared. Don't be a scaredy cat. You're a boy, you cannot come across as someone who's being anxious, or you're a girl, you need to be strong.
yeah,
So these are all the messages that have been passed on from generations, right? Not just our parents. Our parents may have received it from their parents. So this kind of becomes a conditioning of the mind. So the first thing is you probably perceive it as not accepting what you're actually feeling. So you've been taught to reject what you're feeling. You're feeling
okay.
angry, don't feel angry. You feel like crying, don't cry, you're a boy. Again, the same with the girls. You're a girl, you cannot get angry. So don't be you. This is a message that is
Mm,
being given, don't be you. So when you've
yes.
learned it, when your mind is conditioned in that way, okay, so I cannot cry, I cannot feel anxious. So even when you're feeling anxious, you try to push it. And when you push it, it gets pushed, it trickles
Mm,
down into the body,
mm,
right? It impacts your breathing. So if you've observed, whenever you feel scared or whenever you feel
yeah.
anxious, you'll observe a change in your breathing pattern. Even
Yes.
when you feel angry, right? You'll experience a change in your breathing pattern.
Yes.
So that is what happens. Because breathing,
Yes.
I always say that, and most of the mindfulness practitioners also say that breathing is believing, right? Because breathing is what keeps us alive, right? So when you're going away from your true self, you're actually going away from, who you truly are.
Mm. Yes, and that's why when you take deep breaths,
Yes.
you feel a little calm
Calmer.
and
Yes.
you feel a little bit more in touch with yourself,
Correct.
right?
Absolutely.
So, like
Absolutely.
they say in Vipassana, breathing is the first step, right?
Yeah.
Focusing on your breath. By
Correct.
focusing on your breath, you bring yourself to the moment,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And basically, you exist in the moment. You have to bring
Correct.
yourself to that.
Right. Right.
And generally, probably what happens is that we are not in the moment because we are in the past.
Mm.
We are with our
Correct.
past selves. And it's the past self that we generally mistake ourselves as being our true self.
Correct.
Whereas the past self is a shadow self. It's like a remnant of
Mm.
all our past hurts,
Yes.
experiences, what we have been
Yes.
told about ourselves, what we have imagined
Mm.
ourselves to be. So generally, it's that past self that dominates, and and probably that also
Mm.
somewhere creates the anxiety and the fear, right?
Correct.
Because it
Correct.
is constantly
Correct.
giving us messages that are coming from the past,
Well
and it is
said. Well
not
said.
letting us
Yes.
explore. It is not letting us explore ourselves and our
Mm.
potential, which is always unknown, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Potential creativity is always unknown unless we explore, unless we
Yeah.
try out things. We never know what is going to
Right.
happen, right?
Right. Right.
But the past self, it wants to control.
Mm.
It
Mm.
wants to control what is going to happen. It is
Correct.
always telling you, okay, you do
Right.
this, you do this.
Right.
This is how it is going to happen. This is what will
Correct.
happen. So it
Right.
is that constant set of instructions that you are getting from your past selves, or it
Mm.
is talking about different things.
Right.
Giving a judgment about everything
Correct.
in your life or what
Correct.
you're feeling, right?
Right.
And
Right.
probably this is somewhere this needs to be addressed
Mm.
to really solve these
Right.
issues.
Right. Right. No, I think this is what I completely agree with you. So this takes me to, working with someone I know. So when we started working together, I think in 2023 or 24. So this person, he's a lawyer. I wouldn't obviously name him, and a successful lawyer. The only thing is that this person, even with his team, when he's working with the team, he comes across as aggressive. He comes across as someone who's being very pushy. This is a feedback he's received from his team and even his family members.
Mm.
So when he came to me, he's like, this is what my family and my team keep saying. So I said, okay, but how about you? Like, oh, I don't think there's anything wrong in that. But I said, no, no, it's not about right or wrong. But do you believe what they say? They're like, no, he's like, no, I don't believe that I am aggressive or being pushy. I'm just being what I am. I started this firm for a reason. I'm here for helping my clients get justice. And to get justice, you need to come across as someone who's very, very strong.
Mm.
So he had probably set that, and he had set his bar way high. So when we started discussing, that's when I realized that, as you rightly said, right, his past self, so right from his childhood, he had been told by his parents or his teachers or his guardian, godfather, he would say that he has to come across as someone who's very strong. So he probably misunderstood aggression for assertion. So to be assertive, you need to be assertive. You don't need to
Yeah,
be loud.
yeah.
So when we worked with ourselves, when I worked with him, what we did was we got him to focus on his past, got him to break that, as you rightly said, the past self or the old self. He was probably initially hesitant, but later on he realized that yes, he was being loud, he was being arrogant, and he was being aggressive. These were his own words, which he said, and he's like, maybe this I like being that. Um, so did he change to some extent? Yes, he's now more open to receiving feedback.
Mm.
He's being more friendly with the team, and that is something that comes naturally.
Yeah,
So I think it's only when you accept
yeah.
yourself for what you are,
Yes,
when you
yes,
realize that whatever you may have learned from your childhood, some things may be applicable for your adulthood, but most of the things are the things that you need to just let go. And the word that you
yes.
rightly used, the shadow. Shadow is something that
Shadow
we
self.
carry with ourselves like a
Yes,
backpack. And
yes. It's
that is
like a
something,
cloud.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like a cloud. It's like a dark cloud, which
Hmm.
kind of,
Who was
I
around
mean, the
you, right?
self
Yeah,
exists because it's like a magician's trick.
correct.
As long as you don't know what the trick is,
Mhm.
it continues. But once you
Correct.
look at it,
Right,
it kind of dissipates.
right.
And generally, somehow, I think we feel that to look at the past self is painful, right? it feels
Absolutely.
painful.
Yeah.
And but once you get past that
Mm.
painful feeling,
Right.
you will realize that it is not
Mm.
that
Correct.
it's not that a big deal, right?
Right.
It's just a miasma. It is something that is like poof, it goes
Mm.
away. But
Correct.
while it is there, it dominates, it
Correct.
controls,
Correct.
and
Correct.
it feels like it is very painful. And one of
Mm.
the things I think to do is to realize it. I mean, of course, it's easier said than done. There's a lot of self-inquiry,
Yeah.
questioning, those
Yeah.
kind of things you have to go through.
Right.
And you have to realize that you are, you have to realize how programmed you are,
Mm.
how conditioned you
Absolutely.
are.
Absolutely.
All that you think, all that you feel, all that you know about yourself, all that you know about the
Correct.
world, how the world operates, how things
Right.
are, how society is, how things should be, how you should be. It's all a program.
Correct.
You have
Correct.
been taught to think and feel
Yes.
that way. It's
Right.
totally a program, it's totally mechanical, and you have to just dismantle that completely and
Correct.
you have to start understanding and seeing things for yourself with
Correct.
your own eyes. You
Right.
realize that
Right.
you are a second-hand human being. You
Correct.
don't,
Correct.
there's nothing original in you.
Right.
There's nothing you have discovered or you
Correct.
have learned by yourself.
Yes. Yes.
You are a
Yes.
machine that has been
Being conditioned
pasted
for
on it.
ages.
But
Yes.
that's it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
once you start seeing things and thinking about things
Mm.
by yourself, I
Correct.
think this it starts to dissipate, and
Mm.
naturally in this process there is, because you're moving away from the herd, right? The herd
Mm.
is society is a set of
Yes.
common
Yes.
conditions.
Yes.
Right, it's a
Yeah.
common program, and the
Right.
moment you move away from that common program, it creates anxiety, it creates
Mhm.
you want to validation, because every time the herd wants to pull you back in,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Right. 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 Right.
So it's all
No,
related
that's
actually. Yes.
correct. Correct. Absolutely. And I like what you said. We need to be curious. So
Yeah.
what people typically do is that they are curious, but they are curious in finding out solutions for other people, which
Yeah.
is good,
Yeah.
right? What about being curious for your own self?
Yeah.
The mind that you've conditioned, it's time for you to reflect on the patterns that you've been carrying for a very long time. And everything is
Yeah.
energy, right? I mean, your thoughts are
Yeah.
energies, your emotions are energies.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Oh,
somewhere, if you keep seeking validation,
correct.
you don't get to that point.
No, you don't.
Everybody is validating you, everybody is
Correct.
comforting you, everybody is saying
Correct.
how good
Correct.
you are,
Correct.
people around you are supporting your thoughts.
Absolutely.
You keep getting
Absolutely.
validation, you keep getting that comfort, you keep getting
Yeah.
those kind of things, then you never get to question it.
Correct.
You know, for example, let's take Buddha. Buddha's
Mm.
father was told by a priest that he will become either a great king or a great seer, for example, seer or
Correct.
a spiritual person,
Right.
right? So
Right.
his father he did not want him, he wanted him to be a great king. He did not want him to be a great spiritual
Right.
person or whatever you call it.
Correct.
So what he did, he made sure around him he only saw comfort, he only saw
Mm.
validation.
Mm.
He never saw anything painful, anything that would make him question himself. And but the moment he saw something like this, that process
Correct.
began in him.
Correct.
So I think it's important for us to have people around us or
Correct.
be in that situation where we are feeling uncertain, where we are
Correct.
not getting validation. So people who are escape the trap of validation somewhere, I think those
Mm.
are the ones that are truly
Correct.
free, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that comes only when you, as we said, as we discussed, you start questioning yourself and questioning not with an intent to demean yourself, but
Mm.
questioning with an intent to help yourself grow, right? Into something that you uh, desire to be. And
Yeah,
it also begins when you accept that yes, it's time for me to change the way I think, feel, and act. It's also when you reflect on the quality of your thoughts, quality of your feelings, and start moving towards breaking those patterns and focus on building that self confidence. Right?
mm.
Because once you start replacing self doubt with self belief, you will gradually find magic happening. So that's when the magic happens.
Yeah. And I think some amount of shock is necessary.
Yeah.
Generally, we wait for an external event,
Mm.
maybe a sorrowful event or some kind of tragedy to happen before we start questioning. But
Mm.
we need not wait for such an event, right?
Right.
Every day, just by observing ourselves, how we think, how we feel, how we react, how repetitive our thoughts and
Mm.
feelings are, right? How bored we are, for example, how stuck we feel,
Mm.
how anxious we feel, you know, actuality, by observing actuality,
Yeah.
not by imagining things, by observing actually how we feel,
Right.
and by, for me, what happened once, I went to, sometimes I go alone, I go to like some place just to spend 1 or 2 days uh, by myself. So I went to nearby, there's a national park in Dehradun called Rajaji, and nearby there is a beautiful river, Ganga Ji,
Right.
flows by there, and it's far from the city, it's part of the forest, so sometimes I go there. So once it happened to me, I was just sitting
Mm.
and I was just looking at the flowing river, and it came as a shock to me as how automated I am,
Mm.
what an automatic person I am. Like
Yeah.
I'm just acting, thinking, living very automatically. Things are
Right.
happening, right? It's almost like a
Right.
machine, like
Correct.
reactivity and repetitiveness.
Yeah.
So that came as a lot big shock to me. And I
Correct.
think that shock kind of somewhere awakened me a little bit.
Mm.
And I think it's a little important to have these shocks,
Yeah.
otherwise the brain
Correct.
doesn't get awakened.
Correct.
And the whole challenge is to awaken the brain, because
Yes.
generally the brain, it likes to be in a sort of semi sleep.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
want to be in sleep, because in sleep, uh, we feel there is some kind of security,
Mm.
right?
Right.
And in the familiar there is security, in the
Yeah.
unknown, where things, we don't know, things are uncertain,
Yes.
it feels a threat.
Yes.
So I think it's important for us to put ourselves in that zone of perceived threat more
Correct.
and more, so that we feel more challenged, more awake, rather
Correct.
than feel comfortable and just go to sleep.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this call it shock treatment.
Yeah.
Um, this is where and in the coaching parlance we call it the aha moment, right?
Mhm.
When you get the aha moment, when you are actually contemplating, when you're thinking. In
Mhm.
your case, obviously, you've probably been to where I think somewhere in Dehradun you said, right? So when you are with nature, nature forces you to reflect within your nature, and I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
that's the best way to probably break some of our conditioned patterns, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, because nature is not mechanical.
Yeah, no,
And in
absolutely.
front of nature, we realize how mechanical we are, how
Correct,
mechanical our
correct,
thinking is,
correct,
how
correct.
mechanical our brain is,
Right,
and and that creates that dissonance, which creates that
right,
shock, I think, which is
right, right,
necessary.
right. It is. Yeah, absolutely. And I think this uh, the bit of validation. This is something that can be solved, I would say, within a week if people are really serious about getting rid of this habit, because this is what makes us underconfident. This is what makes us indecisive,
Yes.
and it also impacts our ability to perform.
Yeah.
Right. So you want people to look up to you as a leader, but as long as you are not looking up to yourself as a leader,
Mm.
why and how can you expect, say, your boss or your colleagues or your team members to look up to you like a leader,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, hey Akshay, I want you to lead this team, but as long as you Akshay is not confident, how can that supervisor come up to him saying that, I want you to lead this department or lead this team, lead this
Yeah.
project? It has to
Yeah.
come from within, and it'll come from within only when Akshay is willing to look within, when he's willing to accept his flaws, his weaknesses, and
Yeah.
also look at his strengths, not just the weaknesses or flaws.
Yeah.
Typically, what happens is that when you ask someone, tell me your strengths, people will, you'll find them becoming confused. But when you ask them to write down two weaknesses, they'll probably come up with 20 weaknesses. So
Mm.
again, that's how the mind is conditioned.
Mm.
Especially in our culture, right from the childhood, you've been taught, don't be pompous, don't you know keep promoting yourself. Just focus on doing your work, and your work will speak for itself. Now,
Yeah.
when you have this mentality, how do you expect a person
Yeah.
to speak about himself or herself? So
Yeah.
that's what happens.
And for me, it may be very difficult. I think it is probably very difficult for most people to move beyond these social
Yeah,
conditionings,
yeah.
right? But for me, it's not that big a challenge, actually. For me, the
Mm.
internal conditionings are more difficult, but the social conditionings, like what others expect and so on, these are probably
Right,
a little easier to.
right.
And I think, like you mentioned, what we've been taught from childhood, etc.
Mm.
We just simply have to let all that go and stand
Yeah,
alone. It's
correct.
it's also about having the courage to stand alone
Right,
without
right,
the weight of society, without the weight of what the social norms are, what
right.
how things are supposed to happen. Because otherwise, how can you be original?
Correct, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you have to be. You can. I mean, we like we discussed. We estimate certain things. We blow them out of proportion.
Correct.
And unless we try something, and most of the time, the kind of expectations we think people have of us, they may
Mm.
not have those expectations also.
Correct.
They don't
Absolutely.
think of us like that. We are free to create. We are free
Correct.
to do new things. Nobody is
Correct.
stopping us. But
Correct.
it's just those barriers we put on
Right.
ourselves,
Correct.
right? Because thinking that, okay, this is how things are supposed to be done. But once
Absolutely.
we start charting our own course, I think the path just keeps getting created.
Yeah, right.
Nothing is
Absolutely.
being
Absolutely.
created. And
Absolutely.
others accept it.
Correct.
It's not like others don't accept it.
Right.
It's
Right.
just us and our internal validation seeking, our own anxieties and fears that that kind of keep us. So it's the problem is internal actually. It's
Right.
not all to do with society. There's
Correct.
probably
Correct.
no such thing as society at all. It's
Absolutely.
all
It's
your
it's
mind.
yeah, yeah. It's all our mind and how we've been, conditioned. Like, to give you an example, I know someone. There's this family. So the father, he's a successful ad maker, and the mother is an interior designer. Now, obviously, father has his business, mother has her own business. Son and daughter, people obviously expected, the kids to join, yeah,
Yeah.
either of their businesses. But what happened as they grew up, the son wanted to get into filmmaking. The daughter wanted to get into dance. She did her master's in psychology, and the parents obviously kind of expected that she would probably get into therapy or counseling psychology. She said she wanted to get into dance movement therapy for the kids, or for the disabled, or especially for the older folks. Her parents were very supportive. Today, that girl is doing really well in her profession. The son obviously wanted to get into film, so he's probably he's gone into editing. So what I'm trying to say is that when parents are allowing their kids to take the decisions on their own right from their childhood without questioning the decision, I think that is what makes the difference.
Mm.
Because you're trained right from the childhood to be who you want to be.
Yes.
Right? There were people who told the parents that, that what if your son fails? What if your daughter
Yeah.
fails?
Yeah.
So then the parents were like, yeah, so what? We're there for them.
Yeah.
My
And this, I
business,
think,
yeah, and he
and
can he
this,
can walk into my business any day he wants to. Right.
yeah. And
So
I think this is like a common thing throughout the world. It's not just in India.
yeah, 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 yeah,
We
yeah,
say that in other
absolutely.
countries, in the Western countries, it's not like that. But
No, no, I
there
think there
also,
also,
in
yes,
fact, I
absolutely.
find people in Western countries
Hmm.
much less expressive.
Correct.
And Yeah, and probably
Correct.
these problems, they exist everywhere. They are
Right,
almost
right.
universal. They are a
Absolutely,
human
absolutely.
condition.
Even yeah, yeah,
They're a human
absolutely.
condition.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think that's what I think what we need to do is we need to have that free flow of energy flowing
Yeah.
within. And we spoke of breathing. Breathing is believing. Now
Yeah.
in Marathi and Hindi, there's this word Vishwas, which is faith.
Mm.
Uh, and if you break that word into two, Shwas in Marathi is
Breath.
breathing, is breath, breathing. So Vishwas, we want to say that we believe, right?
Mm.
So that's what we need to do. We need to start believing in who we are. And how will
Mm.
that happen? That will happen every time you question your negative thought. Oh, I'm
Mm.
feeling anxious. Fine. You're feeling anxious.
Yeah.
What is making you feel anxious?
Yeah.
What if I fail? All right. What if you fail? And then questioning that when you get these thoughts, that is also necessary. You need to reflect. You need to engage with those thoughts, and that is what is not happening today.
Yes.
So
And
that's what's needed.
just we'll wrap up with one last final point
Yeah.
to sum this up. Why this is not happening is probably because throughout our education and adult lives, we
Hmm.
are all trained to focus outwards.
Correct.
We are told that there is an external world where we have to perform, where we have to grow, where we have to succeed, and that is all
Correct.
that matters,
Right.
right? So our whole attention throughout our life is in that external world
Correct.
where we think there are
They know
things happening.
better.
They know better, things are happening, society exists in that external worlds, external world events are happening that in external world,
Hmm.
everything is happening in that external world, and we are just
Correct.
mute spectators of that external world,
Correct.
right? But
Right.
what we have to do is we have to break that division or the
Hmm.
illusion of that division,
Yeah.
that there is an external world. There is
Correct.
only one world. There is no external world and there is no
Right.
internal world.
Right. Right.
Because when we make that division that there is an internal world, there is an external world, that causes problems.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then we are neither here nor there.
Right.
So I think probably like in some of the Upanishads also they say
Hmm.
that there is only one,
Hmm.
right? There is only one.
Yeah.
Consciousness is only one. There are not multiple consciousness.
Correct.
Multiple consciousness, multiple. They are all people. There are different human beings who are
Yeah.
experiencing consciousness in different ways
Yes.
because of their circumstances. But
Hmm.
consciousness is one, and so
Hmm.
there is only you that exists in
Correct.
the world.
Correct.
You and me are the
Absolutely.
same, right?
Right.
Your
Right.
consciousness, my consciousness is the same,
Correct.
and there is only one consciousness. We have to treat that as one. We have to treat
Hmm.
ourselves as one whole unit. We
Right.
don't have to treat ourselves and world as separate units.
Correct.
And I think that is probably the transformation that is needed.
Yes.
Otherwise, things they just don't make sense.
Correct. Absolutely. And I think it's time we stop, looking at ourselves from the lens of other people.
Yeah,
That is also connected to your validation, right?
yeah,
Now, just because I did not like your presentation, just because you said that, you could have done better, doesn't mean that you're not capable. It's just that your output of that particular presentation was not good, but that doesn't mean that you're
yeah,
not good. You're
yeah,
definitely capable, which is why you're
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So allow yourself to fail, allow yourself to make mistakes. It's
Right.
okay. What is not right is putting yourself down. What is not right is feeling dejected with every failure. You're feeling sad? Fine. Allow yourself to be in that position. Feel that pain and let it go. Uh,
Yeah.
and decode the lessons that you've had in that episode, learn from it and apply those learnings into your daily life. I mean, that's where you'll move towards seeking your own validation rather than seeking external validation. There's a
Right.
beautiful video on validation. If you find it on YouTube, it's called, I think, validation. So this is about a guy who's this parking attendant, and there's a huge queue. So then his boss is like very angry, saying, what's happening? Is he sleeping? And that's when he goes there. People are going there because every time you park your car, he gives you a ticket saying that you are a lovely human being. The second guy, he says, you are handsome. Third lady, like, you're beautiful, you've got a beautiful smile, keep smiling. And then, how it changes people. And it's a beautiful video. Just go through, just through the entire video. You'll find that how this person also starts feeling hollow from within, because he's the only one who's giving. There's no one who's giving it back to him. And that's the beauty of that video, that you don't have to feel shallow or hollow from within. If you have it in you, keep giving it to yourself as well. You'll feel weak only when you stop appreciating your efforts. So the day you start appreciating your efforts, the day you feel excited from within, is the day you will start moving towards your own validation, self-validation. That's what we call.
Yes, and probably what you mean is also what may be called self-love, right?
Absolutely.
Treating yourself as a
Correct.
human being,
Correct. Correct.
treating yourself with respect, treating
Right.
yourself with the care, like you would do to probably
Mm.
your own child.
Correct.
We treat ourselves very badly. We say anything to
Right.
ourselves. Uh,
Correct. Correct.
you know,
Correct.
it's just, and we have to realize that probably there is no such thing as external validation.
Correct.
Everything is ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's only us talking to ourselves.
Correct. 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 Right. And now I can change my
Yes.
statement that external validation, when you're seeking external validation, it's not a desired order, it's a myth.
Yeah.
You need to probably get yourself out of it. Right.
Right.
So
Right.
change
You
the
have
way you
to.
think, feel, and act.
Right. Right. Great. I think it's been very
Yes.
enlightening and inspiring and
Loved
really
some
very
of your
exciting.
insights as well. Yes,
Yes, I
absolutely.
mean
Absolutely.
it's these dialogues are very valuable because you learn so much and you get so
Hmm.
much insights as you have these conversations. Something
Correct.
awakens in you, and
Correct.
it's just you get a lot of goosebumps, and
Correct.
it's
Correct.
very exciting.
It is. It
Always
is.
talking like this, talking directly, talking
Hmm.
frankly, and talking very holistically
Correct.
about things that really matter
Yeah.
in our life. So thank you so
Right.
much, Akshay.
Yeah. Thank
It
you.
was a
Thanks.
very
Thanks,
pleasure.
Ashutosh, for reaching out for this conversation. Something
Yeah.
that we would obviously would want to continue with new topics every time we.
Sure, sure. Let's keep talking. Yes,
Yes.
yes. Let's.
Let's
I'm
do
already
that.
looking forward to our next conversation
Correct.
and a new
Yeah.
topic.
Absolutely looking forward to it, Ashutosh. Thank you, and thank you to all those who would watch this video later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you to our
Thank
viewers
you.
as well.
Yes. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Akshay.
Bye. Bye.